morning, and the sun finally came out. My name is David Ellis. I'm very fortunate to be the Senior Vice President at Becker, and it is with great pleasure that I welcome each and every one of you to what is a very special day in the long history of our college, the official dedication of our new campus center. Now, in November of 2010, the president stood, and we realized right about where I am now. We stood in this spot where the old tennis courts were, and he looked me in the eye and he said, quote, "We're going to put a shovel in the ground to begin construction in the spring of 2011, and the new campus center will open in the summer of 2012, end quote." And I hadn't worked for him very long, and I thought he was joking. And he wasn't. So I stand here today and can testify to you that he was 100% accurate, which from many perspectives is incredible, but not the least of which is considering that his academic training is in economics, and they're never right. And I'll pay for that later, too. Over the past 23 months, a great many people from all of our internal and external Becker communities have worked long and hard to make this project become a reality for why we are here, our students. This is a great day to celebrate, and what better way to celebrate than to start by demonstrating the talents of one of our students. So to start the program, I'd ask you all to rise, and I will be very pleased to introduce Hannah Eastman in the class of 2016 to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, while the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you very much, Hannah. The president reminds us each and every day that we are here for our students. And I often say with what I do that our core business is actually teaching in and out of the classroom. So it's with great pleasure I introduce to you a member of our faculty, the Reverend Dr. Deborah Pallado-Fontaine, Professor of Teacher Education and Family Studies, who will now give the invocation.
Let us all be in the spirit of thanksgiving and joy for this wonderful day. O God of many names, we offer thanksgiving and praise to you on this festive day. Today we dedicate this new campus center to the Becker College community. As we gather here to bless this space, may our work, play, and fellowship increase not only our intellectual pursuits, but also enhance our ability to be thoughtful and kind human beings. Help us to make a positive difference in the lives of people, bringing about a more peaceful and just college community and the world at large. O God of justice and compassion, guide us in the quest to act out the vision and values of this college, bringing us to greater awareness to the needs of the world here and afar. Prod us into action as we embody the pillars of Becker College: academic excellence, social responsibility, and creative expression, and to understand what it truly means to not only be successful here at Becker, but to contribute to the greater good. Abiding presence, as we spend time in this building and grounds, renew and restore us. Keep calling to our hearts and minds, reminding us of what it means to be a global citizen today. Connecting with our neighbors in a spirit of respect and appreciation for difference, helping others and knowing that the more we give, the more we are transformed, and expressing all that we learn here in creative ways that promote inquiry and self-discovery. Let us remember what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. affirmed. An individual has not started living until he or she can rise above the narrow confines of individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Here at Becker College, we will do just that, because we are the future, and we will be the change. May it be so. Amen.
Now, for those of you that are paying very close attention to your program, you're going to notice that we are an entrepreneurial college and we're going to shift the order. Don't ask for permission, just apologize later. It's now my pleasure to introduce the President of Student Government, Brooke Cote. Brooke is a member of the class of 2013 and has the very rare distinction of being in her second year as SGA President. She majors in pre-vet and is a member of the field hockey team. And in fact, as you'll see from the tape on her hand, got injured yesterday, but she's playing hurt. Brooke is an active volunteer, a driving force with community service outreach, and a truly wonderful example of a student who, through her words and deeds, demonstrates not one, but really all 6 of Becker's core values. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce the President of Student Government, Brooke Cote.
Good morning. My name is Brooke Cote. I'm a senior, a pre-vet major, president of the Student Government Association, and active in many clubs here on campus. When I first came to Becker, I wasn't sure what I wanted for my college experience, but all I knew is that I wanted a great education for my pre-vet major. When I was a freshman, I started to get a feel for the community at Becker by getting involved with field hockey, a work-study job on campus, and going to club meetings. I commuted almost an hour to and from college every day, and even on the weekends for field hockey and lacrosse games. By the time my freshman year had ended, I had been hired as an orientation leader and a resident assistant for my following year as a sophomore. I knew I had made one of the best choices of my life by coming to Becker College. Becker College has been great, but I must be honest and tell you that when I first came here, there was much room for improvement. I was on the student committee that was interviewing candidates for the 10th president of Becker College. I sat in on most of the meetings, although I knew after my first interview with Dr. Johnson, my mind was set. The summer before I started my sophomore year, Dr. Johnson was announced as the 10th president of Becker College. From that point on, I knew it was only going to get better. President Johnson's passion and enthusiasm to make not just Becker College, but the whole world a better place was contagious. Becker pride became stronger. Everyone was wearing Becker blue on Fridays, and we engaged in college-wide community service projects. Dr. Johnson told us all of the changes that he wanted to make. They all seemed so realistic, but a new student center? Well, that almost just seemed too good to be true. I am very proud to be standing here today in front of the new building that was promised to us and finished on time. It is so rewarding to be a student here at Becker, to know that each of us is doing our part to study and act as global citizens, and to have the college show its dedication, commitment, and belief in us by fundraising and doing all of the hard work to get this new campus center open for this fall. When I came back to school after the summer, I couldn't believe what I saw. The students have commented on how they feel like real college students now because of how nice the building is and how good the food is. Everybody tweeted pictures of the building and posted pictures on Facebook. This new campus center has truly drawn the entire Becker community together in ways that had not happened before. Students who would spend most of their time on the Worcester campus now come to Leicester to use the new building. It has truly united the two campuses. As SGA president, I represent the entire student body in extending our gratitude and appreciation to President Johnson, the Board of Trustees, alumni, and the building committee led by Dr. David Ellis. Most especially, the students thank the many donors who made this new campus center possible. The magnificent facility was not built with tuition dollars. It was built through the kindness and generosity of several foundations, companies, organizations, and individuals. The students of Becker College want to tell each and every one of you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Becker is very fortunate to work in a geographic area where our state and local leaders appreciate the value that the institutions of higher education bring to the area, and specifically the support Becker receives from the City of Worcester, the Town of Leicester, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Today, I'm pleased to next introduce you to the Massachusetts State Representative from Worcester's 17th District, educated in Worcester, not at Becker though, and a representative who has actively supported education over a long and distinguished career, currently the chair of the House Committee on Rules, as well as the chair of the Joint Committee on Rules. It is with great pleasure I introduce you to Massachusetts Representative John Binienda, Sr.
Thank you, David. It's certainly great to be here in front of this magnificent building overlooking this football field and the rest of this outstanding campus. I have a long relationship with this campus because for 26 years I've been the state rep for this area, but prior to that I was a teacher right here in the town of Leicester, and I was also a basketball coach at Leicester High School, and when our gym would have leaks in the roof, which it often did, that was the college that let us use the gymnasium across the street for practice and for our games, and I've always been very grateful for that. David mentioned and Brooke mentioned Professor or Dr. Johnson. I would like to echo their remarks, but I also would like to tell you that this past summer we had a meeting at the State House arranged through the efforts of myself and former Senator Jerry D'Amico and Representative John Mahoney, and it was in the Speaker's office. And Dr. Johnson came in and pleaded the case for your institution. And not only did he do that, but the Speaker of the House looked at me, Robert DeLeo, and he said, "After the meeting's over, John, I'd like to talk to you for a second." And we did. Everyone left, and he said, "Are you sure he's the president of the college?" And I says, "I know he's the president of the college." He says, "I think that guy's a salesman." And that's exactly what he was doing that day. He was selling your institution of higher learning. And not only did he sell the institution, he did it in such an articulate manner that he was by far, as I said to my good friend Tim Lowe after that meeting, he was by far the best speaker that we had in that room. And ladies and gentlemen, you are very, very fortunate to have Dr. Johnson be the president of this institution. And when David said that he was going to break ground here and would be here at this certain date, I'll never doubt this man again. And I'm sure that all of you who are here today will realize that Becker has a gift, and that gift is its president. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Many of us on the administrative side at the college have worked at other colleges and universities over the years, and thus in many other cities and towns. This was a very complex building project. I cannot tell you how much support and help, often on, I hate to say, short notice, that Becker received from Leicester's town departments and Leicester's town officials. Let me also assure you, in my 30-plus years of higher education, this is not always the case. Here we have a town that appreciates the economic synergy created with the local business communities and our students. Becker is very fortunate to have and very much appreciates this ongoing support. So here today to speak on behalf of the town of Leicester, it's an honor to present to you Dianna Provencher, Selectwoman from the Leicester Board.
First, I want to say thank you for inviting the Board of Selectmen to this beautiful ceremony. And second of all, I just want to say it's a proud and an honor for me to be here to speak in front of you. The town of Leicester would like to recognize the importance of having Becker College campers within our community. It's very important, and it keeps us together. We appreciate the coalition that exists between the town and the college officials. We have worked on several programs and projects together to mutual benefit all the parties. We hope to continue these efforts and appreciate Becker's involvement in the community activities. We wish much success in your expansion efforts and join you in celebrating the grand opening of the new college campus. Thank you.
Now, the plans for this magnificent building did not emerge through some form of organic osmosis. The concept and the design were the results of hours upon hours upon hours of listening, translating, drafting, editing, redrafting, etc., by a very talented architect. Frank Lloyd Wright is famously quoted in defining the ultimate challenge for an architect, and I told Bill I was going to have a quote here. Quote, "A doctor can bury his or her mistakes, but an architect can only advise clients to plant vines." End quote. Now, there are no vines here. Becker is fortunate to have chosen a very talented professional, and the results speak for themselves. Please join with me in welcoming to the podium the project's architect, Bill Masiello.
Yeah, this has certainly been a long time to get here, and it's absolutely worth it. This building represents part of a new beginning for Becker College. My colleagues, David Martin, Brittany Page, Sinead Gallivan, and Design Associates, landscape architect Joe Hawkrine, engineers Chris Tootlis, Kevin Seaman, and John Shepard were all part of my team in putting this together. So it was quite an effort in designing this, and we are very proud to be a part of this important moment at the new campus center. This building is designed to serve as a vehicle to renew campus identity with the local community and introduce new connections to the complex world abroad. The structure is a direct result of the many participants over several years with the common vision of creating an architecture which is appropriate to its surrounding context, history, while accommodating the demanding and changing needs of students and faculty. Our job as planners and architects is to synthesize various layers of information and ideas into an architecture which heightens personal experiences, and reflects the positive spirit of the administration under Dr. Johnson's leadership and the board of directors. The arrival sequence is perhaps the most important first impression of any college. Upon entering the main street, main entrance that everybody has approached today, glimpses of the campus center arise as vehicles and pedestrians approach the east side of the campus core. The south entrance plaza embraces guests with gardens and sunshine as it rolls outward to greet visitors. The bold brick gables mimic references of the adjacent masonry buildings on campus and the materials along the town of Leicester common. This exterior is a porous membrane with transparent planes of glass connecting the interior, not only with the core of Becker's campus, but the world beyond. The sunlight becomes the energy which fills the many important spaces, thus enhancing daily college activities. Walking through this building, one cannot help but notice how its surrounding environment speaks to us. By framing views of the beautiful beech trees, capturing distant vistas of the Worcester Hills, or the more pensive internal spaces discreetly located at the base of the inner campus quad core. Congratulations to Becker College, and thank you to everyone involved and for allowing us to be part of this. We are grateful you made us part of your community, family, and we know you have a bright future ahead. Your commitment to such a worthwhile challenge will make a great lasting contribution to the college and its commitment for value, quality, and success. I will close with this one quote from the famous architect Mies van der Rohe. "Means must be subsidiary to ends, and to our desire for dignity and value." Thank you.
I'm now going to digress from the program for a minute and ask some people to stand up. You can recognize them. Bill designed a fantastic facility here, but it didn't build itself. Becker was also very fortunate to have selected a general contractor who built this campus center on what proved to be a very difficult site, on time and on budget. R.P. Masiello of West Boylston is that general contractor, and today I'd like to have them stand up. And they don't want to, but they're going to. And as I introduce you, Tom, stand up. David Masiello, the president. Steve Pupker did an outstanding job as a project manager and got tired of hearing my voice. Danny Markham, who was here for thousands and thousands of hours as the project superintendent and just did all kinds of additional things to help. And I'm especially pleased to point out Tom Mandela from Mercier Electric, who helped in many ways, but also is the parent of a Becker graduate and the grandparent of a current student. So thank you very, very much. Now there's another group I'd like to thank. According to my records, the members of the Becker Campus Center project team first met on May 10th, 2011. And then continually for 68 weeks, start to finish. This is a very dedicated group of professionals who also had to do their regular jobs at the college, and I'd ask that group to stand up and be recognized. I'm not going to just everybody stand up who was on the team. Don Rivers and Rocky Highland from facilities. Ken Cameron, Michelle Fatrick from student life. You need to stand up or come forward. David, Michelle's the only one standing. David Bousquet and Richard Menard from Campus Police, Frank Millerick from Athletics, Patty Patria, Nicole Henderson, Amy Berube from IT, Mike Mongen from Business Services, and then at the end, we were very happy to hand the building over to Dr. Nancy Crimmin, who's the Vice President for Student Affairs. So please join with me in thanking this very big dedicated group of people. And then I know he's hiding, but way over here to my right, your left, is Robert Weiler. I want you to raise your hand, the Senior Food Service Director for Chartwells. Bob had a very difficult challenge in that he had to feed people over the summer out of the kitchen at night. But part of the efficiency of the project was we kept taking equipment out of that kitchen and putting it in here. But he managed to do a wonderful job and continue to have an A-level food service. So thanks to you, Bob, and to Chartwells. So. Dr. Johnson has a catchphrase. and he's apparently used it for a great many years, and he uses it here. He'll often give a group of us a complex task to complete, often quickly, and then he'd say, "But no pressure." So for me to stand here and introduce the president's boss, no pressure, and may you all have this experience. Becker is very blessed to have a dedicated board of trustees, men and women who give of their time and expertise in helping to move the college forward. They're also a tremendous asset as leaders in the college's diverse fundraising efforts. Becker has a very active and committed chairman of the board. He devotes hours upon hours of his time to the college and is someone who pushes and challenges us continually to improve all we do for Becker students. He also very much walks the walk as a board member who spent countless hours on this building project and also as one of the lead donors for the campus center. I'm therefore very pleased to now introduce Becker's chairman of the board, J. DiGeronimo.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as Brooke said at the end of her speech, there's so many people to thank for committing their time, effort, and monies to get this project done. All of you who have contributed to this project, we thank you. This project had its genesis really 6 years ago when I first joined the board, and a certain administrator for advancement, Dean Hickey, approached me and said, "How would you like to chair the new capital campaign drive?" And I said, "I just joined the board. What are we doing?" He said, "Well, we have an idea. We named the program Commitment for Success, Transforming Lives Through Education." And it had three components, basically. Mostly there was an idea that we had to build something new here in Leicester, what was called then a wellness center, and also to raise monies for academic programs, as well as to make contributions to our endowment. As time went on, the needs of colleges and the needs of Becker changed, and we went from a wellness center to a campus center to a better dining hall, and it kept evolving. And finally, we decided we needed something more than just a wellness center, that we needed something to define what Becker was. And at the very beginning, we could not have kick-started this program without the help of the foundations that have been here with us from day one, most especially the Stoddard Charitable Trust, the Fletcher Foundation, the Alden Foundation that contributed to the academic programs, and especially the George and Sybil Fuller Foundation. Without their first commitments, we would not have reached our goal to build this campus. And I thank all the trustees that have served on the board these past 6 years, both past and present. There are two trustees that led the way in commitment and gift giving that unfortunately could not be here. One is Gil Booton, a past chair of the trustees of Becker, class of 39, I think, and the Booton Hall is named after him, and Colleen Barrett, who just retired from the board, and her contributions and matching gifts kept us going to reach our goal. I want to thank them publicly, even though both of them were unable to be here today, and I would like to acknowledge them with a round of applause. In so many ways, all the trustees over the years, because the project kept changing, the financial goals kept changing, but the trustees understood and knew were engaged as the project evolved and kept changing. There are a few trustees I'd like to specifically thank for their efforts. First, Chair of our Finance Committee and our Treasurer, George Isaac, for his oversight commitment with David Ellis, and also with securing the commitments from Sovereign Bank. George, would you please rise? And trustee who could not be here today, John Graham, he took over the campaign for me when I became chair, and he brought it to a successful conclusion. I want to thank John for his special efforts. And I would like to thank my vice chair, Dick Pyle, who kept insisting that we need to build this project and kept insisting and understanding that a student's experience at college is not just about education, but a complete educational wellness. And I kept saying to Dick, when I was in college, we didn't have a gym. I said, what's going on with higher education today? But it was his vision and understanding that kept pushing for this project, and I thank him for keeping me on track. Dick, please stand, Dick. And finally, to a trustee, without doubt, who had the vision and the understanding, he brought his real-world experience to what we should build, where we should build it, how we should build it, who should build it. Without his continual guidance for the decisions we had to make along the way, we may not be standing here today dedicating our new campus center. A special thanks to our Building and Grounds Chair, Dan Prouty. Dan, please. Thank you. And thank you all to everyone, all the trustees along the way. It's been fun. Officially, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. We all know our president, Dr. Robert Johnson. The single most important duty a Board of Trustees has is to hire a president. We did a nationwide search, interviewed 8 candidates, whittled it down to 4. And at the end we said, this guy is a dynamo, but he has not been a college president. Do we take a chance on someone who hasn't had the experience, the expertise of taking over the reins as head of an educational institution? We said, let's take a chance. I can tell you that 2 years later, Dr. Johnson continues to amaze and astound all of us with his knowledge, understanding, and experience in every single facet of college education. He was overqualified for the job as president of an educational institution. Boy, did we guess right. And when Robert first got here and said, what's this project you keep talking about? You've got this capital campaign, you've got to raise a little bit more money, you're not there yet, you got these plans that are here and there, let's just build the thing and worry about paying for it later. And he was right. His commitment to excellence, his drive, his vision, and his ambition is leading Becker into a greater future. And without his goading and insistence, we wouldn't be here dedicating our new campus center. I have been honored and privileged to work with Dr. Johnson these past 2 years. I give you our president, Dr. Robert E. Johnson.
Wow, Jay, I'm overqualified, huh? Think I got an evaluation coming up soon, huh? I'm just saying. What can I say? Jay DiGeronimo, he has been a wonderful board chair. You know, as I talk to colleagues, mentors, and friends who are college presidents across the country, one of the single most important relationships is that between the board chair and the president of the college. And being president here at Becker, I could not think of a finer person to work with as board chair. When I hear about many of the horror stories at many other institutions, to have Jay as the quintessential leader, mentor, confidant, and friend, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you, Jay. I want to thank John Binienda and Dianna Provencher for your kind words and your support of the college and everything that you do, because without you, we would not have this facility. Your support really does make a difference. The town of Leicester worked with us to make many things happen. water, sewage, and a whole host of other things that you couldn't even imagine when you're building a building. But thank you so much. And Representative Binienda, I can't explain to you how much your support has been worth to Becker College, at least since I've been here. When we needed to get up to the State House to meet with the Speaker of the House, you were there, you went to bat for us, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, the main reason we're here, above and beyond anything else, and before I really get into my remarks, I want everybody sitting in the room to give a round of applause to the Becker Blue, all of the students who are out there. Give our students a hand. We've come here today to celebrate the opening of this fine building. The great architect, Franklin Lloyd Wright, said, "The thing always happens that you really believe in, and the belief in a thing makes it happen." This morning, I can honestly say that there were a lot of people who really believed in this project, and as a result of that belief, it has happened. I want to thank all of our Board of Trustees and the numerous donors who gave to make this project a reality. But I want to thank a bunch of people, but not too many, David. I'm not going to be long. You know, David has on his cool Becker blue socks. I hope you noticed that, right? Yeah, payback is something, isn't it? But first and foremost, you know, Becker is a family. And the most important part of the Becker family for me is my lovely wife, Masiello. Thank you. When I was interviewing for this job, we were at the Worcester Club with the trustees, and we were sitting around the table. And one trustee said to me, "So have you had any experience building a building?" I said, "Yes, I do. I've been involved with several projects." "No, but do you really know what you're doing? Do you have experience in building a building?" I said, "Yeah, I have quite a bit of experience of building buildings." And when we decided to move forward with this project, the person who asked me that question is the person that helped make this project a reality. He really led in making this project a reality, Dan Prouty. Were it not for Dan Prouty and all of his leadership and his knowledge in building fine facilities like this, I can honestly say that we would not have this facility today. Thank you so much, Dan, for all that you did. So, you know, in order to build this building with no long-term debt, we had to raise money. And we have successfully been able to do that. And one of the reasons that we were able to raise money and close several of the deals is because of a lot of the advanced work that someone on the staff had done, Dean Hickey. Dean Hickey, some 5, 6, 7 years ago, started going out into the community and building relationships. He is our Vice President of Advancement. And because of his leadership, his dedication, and his determination, and also being an alumnus of Becker College, we were able to raise this money in conjunction and in concert with a lot of other people. But I would be remiss in not recognizing Dean Hickey, this $9.5 million project. Dean, thank you so much. Stand up. Stand up, Dean. That's right, $10 million. And when we do the next 10, no pressure. Then another individual I'd like to recognize, he took over the project when we started the building phase. You know, Dr. David Ellis, you know, and his Becker blue socks. I want you to walk up to him and just pull him up, okay? Yeah, payback is something. But Dr. David Ellis, he led the project team to get the building built. He worked with the contractors, the architect, the town, everyone, to really bring this project in on time and within the budget. Dr. David Ellis has over 35 years of experience in working in higher education. I couldn't think of a finer senior vice president and chief financial officer than Dr. David Ellis. Please give him a hand. Another person that worked with Dean Hickey was Tom Dolan. He's been our consultant. He helped us to make a number of inroads into the foundations here. I want to recognize Tom. Where are you, Tom? Here on this where's Tom Dolan? You see, Tom is smooth. You see that coat he has on? Thank you so much, Tom. I also would like to thank Sovereign Bank, Tom McGregor and Doug Dickerson. If they're here, I'd like to recognize them. Sovereign Bank has been a partner in this project. We wouldn't have been able to complete the project without them. Please don't sting me. I do have an allergy. There's a doctor in the house, right? Okay, that's right. One of our board members. Okay. But I want to thank Tom and Doug for all of the great things that they've done to support us and Sovereign Bank to make this project a reality. And then there were three major foundations that Jay mentioned. They helped us to kick off the campaign back in 2006. And through their generosity, they were able to enable us to complete the campaign this year. And without those foundations, we really would not have been able to go over the top. You know, this building is really about improving the college experience for our students. The facility represents the best of what we have to offer. Henry Ford said, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." Our success has been the result of many people working together: our faculty, staff, and our students, our board of trustees, and the many community leaders who are here today, the bank. All of these people came together to make this a success with no long-term debt during one of the worst economies since the Great Depression. You know, thinking about support and thinking about this building, you know, I think it is appropriate that we name this building. And in naming this building, you know, it comes to mind of a family, the Fuller family, and the Fuller Foundation, who have been tremendous supporters of Becker College over the years, and a tremendous supporter of me since I've been here, particularly Mark Fuller. You know, when I first arrived, shortly after I came, I was out on the golf course at the Worcester Country Club, and I think it was a Saturday morning group, and Mark was there. And, you know, Mark is just a person of special character. I mean, and, you know, he calls it the way that he sees it. And, you know, being relatively new to the community, someone after I was introduced to them, kind of made an off-the-cuff remark. And before I could turn around and even respond, Mark Fuller was right there and set that person straight. And I said, you know, this guy is very special. And I don't know if you remember that, Mark, but it meant a lot to me. It really did. And the Fuller Foundation and that family has been a supporter of this community. There's a story told of Odysseus in Greek mythology. Odysseus was a great warrior. And Odysseus would often go out into war for a long period of time, sometimes literally years at a time. And while Odysseus was going off fighting his enemy, he had a son, and he was concerned that his son would be properly taken care of in his absence. So Odysseus called upon his best friend, Mentor. And Mentor's role was to watch over his son in his absence. Mentor's role was to encourage the son when he was not doing the right thing. Mentor's role was to pull the son along when he was not moving fast enough. Mentor's role was to be there in the absence of the father. And it is from this story in Greek mythology that we find the origin of the word mentor. Mark Fuller and the Fuller Foundation and his entire family have been mentors to this community in education, in healthcare, for the needy, for the locked out, for the shut out, for the blocked out. This family has been a mentor for the entire community. Therefore, today, I want to proudly say that we're going to name this building the George F. and Sybil H. Fuller Campus Center in honor of the Fuller Foundation and their family. Please stand. Mark, come on up.
This is really dangerous to let me know. I too was so happy to find out that Dr. Johnson was going to be the next president of Becker. And for me, it was quite easy. You know, I tend to buy in pretty quick to support, and I want to keep doing it. I'm going to give you a quick history lesson on George and Sybil Fuller. George was born around 1868, just after the Civil War, in Grafton. His wife Sybil, born in Boylston, where a lot of us still live today. Got married. George didn't finish high school. Got a GED. I'm not sure what that meant in about 1885. Went to work for a company called Wyman Gordon, a fledgling forging company in Worcester, Massachusetts. Short version, when he retired, he was chairman of the board and the largest individual shareholder. George passed away in 1962, and at that time, all of his Wyman Gordon stock went into his charitable foundation named after he and his wife, the purpose of which was to benefit the Worcester community. So this is our 50th year of making grants in Worcester and surrounding communities. We, the trustees, representing us here today, Diane Halleck Robbins and her brother David Halleck, my wife Jan, my mom Joyce, hi Joyce, my brother Lincoln, and my daughter Kelsey Zareski, not able to be here today. So we are, first of all, extremely honored to have this building named on behalf of George and Sybil. George overwhelmingly was a builder. That was his thing. And he loved to be involved in a renovation project or a building project, and so it's most appropriate that the foundation provides primarily support for building projects, tend to be larger ones. And so this is a great honor. I thank you so much. Go Becker Blue. Nice socks, David.
Hey, I'm all in on Becker Blue, okay? This now closes the official part of the ceremony. We're going to now do the ribbon cutting, where you can remain in your seats if you'd like, or come over to the front of the building, after which there is lunch, and they make amazing food in there by our Chartwell's partner, followed by tours of the campus center. And approximately 15 minutes after the ribbon cutting in the front for the campus center, we'd hope that many of you can join us to thank and dedicate our new bookstore with our wonderful bookstore partners, Follett's, which is up on the second floor of what is now the Campus Center West. So thank you very, very much, and please join us as cut the ribbon and officially dedicate the building.